Hi everyone, my name is MJ and you are at my channel called Reading This Life. My channel is where we talk fiction, we talk friends, and yes, we talk fun. Today, let's do my February wrap up. Let's do my February wrap up and talk about all of the books that I've read. Well, maybe not all. You'll see what I mean. Stay tuned. And remember, before we get started, you know what to do. I don't need to tell you anymore, do I? I don't think so. All right, so I hope everyone is doing well. Welcome if you're brand new, and welcome back if you are a long-time subscriber. Love seeing my subscribers. All right, we're gonna do this the same way I did last month. One word review, nothing planned, nothing prepped. I'm gonna go through all the books. We're gonna talk about it in one word. There's some books that I can't talk about. And do you know what books those are? I think you may know. Let me refresh your memory. First rule about the BookTube prize. Don't talk about the books you're reading until you can. So there are 2 BookTube prize books in here. I am in the fiction category, which fits. It's on brand. I don't know what else I could tell you. I can't talk about them until we're able to, but I could tell you that I read them. How's that? All right, so I have my laptop. I have some books pulled. Not all books were physical. Some I've shipped to another state, and some are virtual in the ether hanging out, okay? All right. So we will go in chronological order because why not? I'm feeling like that. All right, so let's start. 11 books read in February. I'm fine with that. I'm totally fine with that. And do you know why I'm fine with that? Because I don't do this full time. I don't. I have hobbies and I have work and I have a husband and a dog and things to do and all that. I can't read all day long even though I would want to. And there's something else that I would rather do that I can't talk about yet. Well, maybe I will soon, but there's another hobby. Little teaser. All right. God, the first book I read was Earthlings, and that is by Sayaka Murata. That book was crazy. That's my one word. Crazy. 3 stars. 3 stars for that. That is a Read What You Own book. I purchased it while it was on sale for like $1.99 or whatever, and I've had it for a while. But I remember people talking about it, and I'm like, crazy. If you know, you know. All right. Next, I read Big Swiss. And this is by Jen Beagin. And Big Swiss is for the BookTube prize. And you know what they say about the BookTube prize? Don't talk about the BookTube prize. Okay. Then, can you stand it? I read my first Stephen King. I know a lot of you said, you've got to be joking. You've never read Stephen King before. I've never read Stephen King before. And I think there's a part of me, I'll put a card here, that kind of prided myself on that I was a Stephen King virgin. Like I never read one of his books from cover to cover. This was his first book, and this is a vintage copy from 1975. Look at that great cover. Oh, it's just wonderful. And I don't think anyone actually read it because the pages are pretty awesome, and there's no cracked spine either, which is nice. I'm going to give a 1-word review for Carrie. This is hard. Let me see what my actual review says. Do you know you can follow me on Goodreads? Yeah, you do. You know you can be my friend on Goodreads too if you know who my favorite fashion designer is. Take a guess. I'm gonna say, and don't hate me, it was fine. You can watch my review here. All right, next. Old God's Time. This is by Sebastian Barry, and this is for the BookTube prize. Then I did a buddy read with one of my Patreons, Krilson, and it was for Silent Key by Laurel Hightower. That I actually read on my Kobo. I had to charge up my Kobo, and before the Read What You Own challenge, I purchased some Kobo books just to get it going and have a different piece of technology that I could read books off of. It was on sale. It was the cheapest price I could find on the Kobo website. And the cover in person is really cool. Right there. Very cool. Deep sea diver. One word review for this book. Mysterious. And that's not a bad thing. Next. Let me know if you like this idea, or do you want me to blab on about the books that people have already talked about, like in other channels and forums? Garb August. I read, I'm gonna put the picture here because it needs its own, it needs all of this space. Mutant superhero zombie killing disco cheerleaders from outer space with Uzis. A 1970 disco-charged B-movie fright fest. That book, ladies and gentlemen, was fun. Next. I don't have this book anymore because I sent it to Dave and Olive over at Book Blather. Do you watch them? You should. If not, I'll link their channel below because they're pretty cool. CB Angel by Larry Adcock. I will put a picture here. Nostalgic. Because it was. Takes place in the, I think I could tell you that, right? Takes place in the 70s. Yeah, I could tell you that. All right. Takes place in the 70s. CB culture. Think of BJ and the Bear. Think of Burt Reynolds type shows. You know, talking on the CB. A lot of you aren't going to know what I'm talking about. Just Google it and maybe you'll find out. But that type of 70s vibe, which was very, very cool. Let's go back and do this whole thing all over again. Okay. All right. Then after that, I read Aliens Vasquez by V. Castro. This is a book that I had on my shelf. I started it last year. I got sick while I was reading it and I put it down because it didn't really tickle my fancy, and I decided to pick it up a year later because that's what mood readers do, baby. And I enjoyed it. I didn't enjoy it as much as I thought I would have. I think it needed more aliens for me. I love the story. I love Vasquez's, you know, personal history, family history, all of that. But it just needed a little more xenomorphs, you know? Just a little more. That's all. That's not too hard to ask. So I'm going to say V. Castro. One word review. Inspiring. On a alien futuristic type plane. But I did enjoy it. All right, and that got 3 stars. Then I read Stephen King's On Writing. I gobbled this up. I started it. I had it on Audible. Started it. Didn't finish it. Finally finished it. Loved it. Going to go back to this thousands of times in the future, I'm sure. I just love hearing his process. I loved hearing his tips. I loved hearing what to do, what not to do. Just good. It's just good. He spells it out with his experience, and it reads like a story more than a tutorial, a memoir of the craft. This, 5 stars, highest rating. Goals. That's a good review, isn't it? 5 stars. Okay. Whew. This was my favorite. This is my favorite book that I read in February next to Stephen King on writing. The Devil Takes You Home by Gabino Iglesias. I never read a book so fast in such a long time. This book had everything. We have violence. We have a family No, don't spoil it. Don't spoil it for all the kids out there. We have family drama. We have paranormal. We have some Bruja stuff going on. We have some devilish stuff going on. We have some really sick and twisted scenes. And I loved it. Oh, boy, did I love it. I loved it so much. And this is the version from Book of the Month. They gave you a translation guide. Oh, yeah. And it's fantastic. So there's a lot of dirty words in another language. Yeah, it's fun. It's good. And it's all listed by page, so you can just go figure it out. Because I am not bilingual. I try to get by, but it's not good. It's just not good. And that was fantastic. That was wonderful. If you read this book, if you Google The Devil Takes You Home translation guide, you may be able to find a free PDF that someone put out there just of what everything means, like aces. And it does add to the story. It does. This was a buddy read with Criminale. Okay? I gave it 5 stars. He gave it 2. You're wrong. Freaking fantastic book. All right. Then. Oh, this was a white whale. Oh, one word for Gabino. Favorite. He has a new book coming out, I think in the summer. If I wasn't on this challenge, I would have got the ARC, but I'm on the challenge. Gabino, if you're watching, send me a copy. I want to read it. Last was Rebecca, and this was my Patreon group read. Okay, so I had issues with Rebecca, and I think it's more, is it you or is it me? Is it you or is it me? I think it's more me than the book, because the book, I love the writing. I loved the opening. I loved the descriptive language. I loved all of it. What I didn't like was how our protagonist kind of acted. I felt let down by the book. Unpopular opinion, I know. I think that book was a trailblazer and led the way for other books just like it. But because I read those other books before I read this one, okay, are you following my thought pattern here? I will say, and thank you to my Patreon. I didn't have a copy. I got a copy from the library. The print was really small. A Patreon actually picked up a copy for my birthday, so thank you so much, Daniel. I appreciate it. I'm not going to give up on Rebecca. I think there's still hope. Maybe it just wasn't the right book for me at this time. But it something just didn't click. It's not, I've heard so many people say, oh my God, I love that book. I've read it so many times. Ugh. I don't have that at all. At all. And it's probably me. It's probably, I'm just not into, you know, I just wasn't into the relationship that was focal point in the book. I don't know. There's something with it for me that just didn't work. Okay. I gave Rebecca 3 stars, and that was being really kind. Really because I love the writing. Yeah. And that's basically what I said in my review. I was bothered by this book. And I don't, you know, I was just, I wasn't gripped. I was bothered. I'm going to do, I think what I'm going to do is maybe over the summer I'm going to read it again and see if I get a different take on it. So many people love the book. It just didn't do it for me. It was a real disappointment. That was the disappointing book of the month right there. Rebecca. But I think it's more me than you. I think it's me and not you. It can't be you. It's me. All right, and that was the last thing that I read. So that's all 11 books. If you want to check out my full reviews, check them out on Goodreads. Make sure that you are signed up, hit the notification bell as to when I post new videos, and I'll be seeing you in my next one. I hope everyone's doing well. Make sure that you're taking care of yourself so you can take care of others. And I'll see you in my next video. Bye, everyone. Happy reading.